Did you guys know that I'm a person that doesn't have much morality? I'm not kidding. I don't really have a moral compass, and I need Twitter to guide me towards the light, because on Twitter, you have some of the best examples of morality that American culture can provide. These are the pillars, the cornerstone, that are the foundation of virtue. And, they probably live very wholesome lives. They go to church every Sunday, they pray to Jesus, and they just can't believe that a video game like the Coffin of Andy and Lele exists. Like, this video is tainting the society that the people on Twitter are trying to create. It is vile. It is disgusting. Like how can something like this be allowed to exist? And it's more difficult to convince people not to like something, but it's more easy to try and get it canceled, right? So to put pressure on the developer to stop production, basically just make sure that you take it away from people that can be misled from a life of virtue by playing this video game. Now, the interesting thing is, it's like, what are you doing? Like we know these people are hypocrites. Why do you keep doing? Why do you keep pointing out hypocrisy? Like, the existence of this video game is probably distracting them from more important work. You see, these people are filled with empathy and compassion, and they tirelessly just try and try in order to uplift women's voices, to help the marginalized people of our community. And their work is interrupted because they can't focus on that, knowing that this video game exists. Which, by the way, is made by a woman. She made the coding, she made the story, she made even the opening soundtrack. It was promoted by women. Like, many VTubers promoted this. Like, unironically, this, like, you can say this is a feminist game, in the sense that a woman made it, women promoted it, right? Like, so a lot of you are probably wondering, why do I keep pointing out the hypocrisy? Like, what is the purpose of pointing it out? Because it doesn't do anything. And, it doesn't do anything if you look at it the wrong way. Like, if you genuinely think that someone is being hypocritical and you tell them, I saw what you did there, I know you're a hypocrite, and the other person will go, oh gosh darn it, gee willikers, you're right. I have been caught. I promise never to do it again. I'm going to step down now. Okay? Obviously, this is never going to happen. Calling someone a hypocrite is like labeling someone a racist. I would say it's even more strong than that. There is something inside the human psyche, like very deep beneath. Like this is something very primal. Most individuals despise hypocrites. Like, we have an adversity towards them. I don't know like why, but it transcends culture, it transcends everything. Like, most people do not like hypocrites. So if a person looks towards someone with admiration, or they are interested on what that person has to say, the moment that they are convinced that the person is a hypocrite, they will move away, or they will like them less. That is why you have to constantly point out the hypocrisy. It's not to convince the hypocrites to stop being hypocrites, but it's to convince the normies that the hypocrites have nothing useful to say, they have nothing useful to add, and they should be disconsidered. So yeah, like if you have people who are championing women, but they do everything in their power in order to shut down a project that is one of the most successful indie games which came out last year. And it's a story of great success that should be emulated and it should be championed. Like, even if you don't like this video game, even if you don't agree with the Coffin of Andy and Lele, you should encourage more independent creators to do this. And, independent creators who see the harassment and bullying that's coming from allegedly the defenders of feminism, we need to show that, no, actually, yeah, there are a couple of individuals that will do the harassment, but there are many other people that not only will they defend you, but they will also give you money. Because at the end of the day, we do want to encourage independent creators. I think the gaming industry should move away from the AAA. The AAA is stuck on the mindset of having projects that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make and cater to absolutely nobody. While the independent gaming scene is rich, vibrant, and as you can see, this is why the left is incredibly terrified of it, because they do understand that someone with limited budget can create amazing games, and they want to dissuade that. They want the corporations to reign supreme. And you should also train yourself to give the middle finger to the moral busybody. Like 9 times out of 10, the moral busybody is full of shit. Like in this case, allegedly, they do not like the incest. And I would believe them, you know, like America is a very puritanical country where, you know, drag kids story hour is the thing, and you have like La Cocaína in the White House, and you have, there was this transgender lady that showed boobies in front of the White House, and you had the boot sex in the Senate, right? So from that nation comes the people that are morally concerned about a video game. Okay, fine. Notice how they didn't care about Game of Thrones. Like, Game of Thrones was shipping Daenerys and Jon Snow for many seasons, despite the fact that they knew they were related. You had Cersei Lannister and Jaime, right? Like, give me a fucking break. I don't believe you, right? Like, when you behave like that, people start looking at you and they're like, all right, well, if you didn't care about the incest, why did you went after an independent game developer? Oh, because you're a psychopath. Because you like hurting people. Right? Like, no, unironically, like a religious person. A religious person that genuinely believes that God is going to bring upon the plagues of Egypt onto your nation unless people stop sinning. So now he's like in a crusade to eradicate sin. Even though I find that person disgusting, I would say they are not as disgusting as someone that just does it for fun. It's like they have communities on Discord and they are attacking these developers just for the kicks, for no reason whatsoever, other than the fact that it's a successful person and they want to tear it down. So, yeah, no, these individuals have to be exposed. You have to defend the independent content creators so that they don't believe that they actually spark the ire of the public and realize that it's just like a fringe, radical, psychotic minority of deranged Twitter users that are going after them. But anyway, right, so apparently this video game made the creator around $1 to $2 million in profits. I mean, that's a lot of money. But due to the fact that the video game became popular, it got banned in Australia. Now I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Twitter users didn't try to write letters of concern to the Australian authorities in order to get this game banned. However, I would say this, as a person that's making a video game myself, Germany and Australia and China, I would say, Germany, Australia, and China are some of the worst censorious nations on Earth when it comes to video games. Like, it's very unlikely, unless you're like a AAA company, that you're even going to manage to sell your video games in these 3 states. Like, if your game has any type of adult content, and I'm not even talking necessarily about sexual, but like even violent content, the chance of the video game being sold in Australia or in Germany, slim to none. And if you want to sell it in China, then you have to deal with the CCP, so almost no one tries that, right? So I'm not surprised that it got banned in Australia. There are ways to circumvent this. I think like GOG does it, right? So Good Old Games, if this game is there, I think Australian people can buy it from there. So all in all, it's an inconvenience, but as a game developer myself, I already expect that these 3 countries are not going to be my customers. Like, I don't even take these markets into consideration. Like, for instance, Germany, right? In case you didn't know, if you make a video game and you want to submit it to Germany, like, you have to pay, I think it was 2,000 euros. Now it's probably more. So that a commission from Germany can look at your video game and review it to see if it's acceptable for the German public. And if they view that it isn't acceptable, they're going to ban it, but they're going to keep the money that you gave them anyway. And if it's acceptable, they're going to greenlight it. But the problem is, like, if you have an indie game, sometimes, especially if the game is sold for like $5, $10, you don't even expect that you're going to make more than $2,000 from Germany, right? So it's a business transaction. It's like, well, if I pay this, do I even get my money back? And in most cases, the answer is no. So let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.